It's different for everybody. It's probably what you're doing. I understand that. But it feels like this is interminable this week.
Got another day to go? Another day?
It's just pissing me off. I feel like we can't get there. We just can't get to Friday.
I am starting to get to a place where it does happen that I will operate for 80% of a day and misassign it in my head what day it is that I'm operating. Yesterday, I thought was Thursday.
I thought yesterday was Thursday, too, and it was not.
It was not.
Tragically.
Yeah.
So now we sit here on Thursday feeling like it should be Friday.
It can be. With a few magic words. Say them. Speak the speech, I pray you.
Oh, man. Well, what'd you think, man? That was a fun game.
Oh, really? Sometimes it's a hypothetical and you roll into your take. Impressive in a different way?
Yeah, there's where I was going.
Okay. All right. There it is.
We're on the same page. I like games like that. I also like when we have a kid come out of the pen like the Kinnear kid did and go a inning 2/3 of scoreless, get you some with a whole lot of what for to him, too. That was nice.
When he needed to.
So when you get, look, obviously, when you strike out dudes with the bases loaded late in games, I can't imagine what that does for your confidence. I got to believe that kid is emboldened in a way now where he might be poised to just take off as a reliable late inning arm, throws hard, and was pretty cool to watch him do that. And, again, pretty neat night, if you would. Brody DeLamalure and Blake Cousins.
Not often will you get a baseball game with a couple DeLamalure.
No.
And I'm not going with plural. The plural is DeLamalure.
And have them both hit home runs?
Well.
Pretty crazy.
Yes. I like ours.
I do too.
That was a homer. That was a real man's homer.
You're saying the other is not?
No, I'm just saying that one is. It wasn't even in frame on ESPN Plus. They couldn't find it. It was so deep.
Yeah, it was deep into the night, right? You see a sort of a casual jog to left center, like sort of, that is.
It is rare to find a right-handed home run swing. And I'm not going to say that this is his swing for eternity. I'm just saying in one pitch, one moment, that leaves you as awestruck and inspired as a left-handed squared up baseball. There's something more beautiful about the left-handed swing intrinsically.
Beautiful. Yes. A King Griffey Jr. swing, you could, for days.
But every once in a while, a righty squares one up and you feel the same level of satisfaction.
Back in the day, it was Edgar Martinez.
He's a great example.
I think probably the best right-handed swing in the history of Major League Baseball.
I'm trying to think, switch hitters tend to have beautiful right-handed swings.
That's a good point.
Beltran, obviously I watched a lot of him, but
yeah,
because his lefty was not his natural side, but the righty, it's almost like it elevates the right-handed swing somehow. Anyway, this kid's right-handed swing in that moment was just unbelievable. And the distance of the home run matched the beauty of the swing. So I like ours better.
Tony, I recognize the passing of Gene Hackman in hour 3. You're going to want to watch the bonus hour because it's always good, but also you'll get to see the shock on Tom's face as he didn't know it at the time. And I told him, and you can see the crestfallen moment that had happened.
I feel like it should be added to your resume and or social media profiles that you are the informer of Tom of death in the world.
The deliverance of death. The news of the dire. That's what it could just say underneath, the news of the dire.
That's right. Yeah.
All news that's dire. I provide that for you. Well, you already called me morbid because of the things that I like to read, watch, or listen to.
Well, and the way in which that you can regurgitate every detail of those moments. It's not about the interest level. It's that when you describe these events, you have it down to granular detail as though you were there.
I do tend to memorize weird things. I can memorize music and producers and years. I don't know why. I just always have. And then, yes, any morbid detail of a murder or a terrible,
The only thing they knew about the Chicago Strangler was he had one eyebrow. The other one was completely shaved.
Yeah. 25 years later, they thought it was Alex Vint. But Vint was exonerated, and the next thing you knew...
I'm kidding, you're not.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I give the thoughts on the great, great, great actor that was Gene Hackman. And today, in his honor, because I don't need much of an excuse, I will watch the Royal Tenenbaums. I mean, how can you not? Then again, the kids haven't seen The French Connection.
I hadn't seen it until about 5 years ago. And I realized only recently that they made a sequel to it. The ambiguous ending, I never saw it. I felt like it would do a disservice to the first film if I saw the second
You were
one.
right not to do it.
Yeah.
It's a far cry.
You don't end a movie like that. There are some movies that end and you realize that they are most certainly setting up a sequel. And then there are others that you can tell that this movie is supposed to stand alone. And if there is a sequel, it's because there's an immense amount of money on the line. And so they accepted the project. And I feel like that's the way The French Connection 2 was after watching the first one.
It's a waste of your time, so don't bother. You're good. You're all over it. You're all set. We will save him for later. Anyhow, good way to get a win last night. I thought the Noles needed that, right? They got a lot of things that happen that will benefit them long term. Now we need to find out if Max Williams is okay. That won't benefit him long term if that's a problem. But the guy that came in for him got caught up in a hurry. BJ Gibson, who didn't get a chance to play in the fall because of football, and who we like in football as well.
I do. Tough.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Did some things. And it was nice to see him. Look, this is a guy that didn't get a lot of ABs, didn't get the opportunity. And we know timing is hugely affected by reps and how often you get them. And so, again, I think it's a good sign that he got caught up in a hurry. I also think that Ben Barrett's going to be fine. I'm not overly concerned there. Last year, I was very concerned with Ben Barrett because the velocity came way down and he didn't look like a guy that could pitch effectively, but I don't think that's the case now.
I would agree. One thing I want to say about the bullpen so far through 8 games, you're not ready-made. You're not in midseason form, but this group is going to have their bad outings. I feel that.
The bullpen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even the Abrahams of the world. Like, there are going to be days where you go, not inspired by what I see out of that bullpen. But anytime you can cultivate a new option in high leverage moments like this, that's great insurance where Link can be zero tolerance and say, you don't have it today, young man. Give me the ball.
They, you remember, talked this up before the season started. And Micah talked about having so many options and trying to figure it all out. And said, this will work itself out. We're going to give lots of guys, different guys, opportunities. And we're not afraid to do it in game situations. We're not afraid to do it in midweek games and figure it out. I've maintained for a very long time these midweek games, you want to win them. Anytime you go out there to play the game and it counts, you want to win it. But it's more important that you fact find. It's more important, generally speaking, as long as you know you're going to win your fair share of weekend series, and this team will because they pitch too well not to. You need to find out what you have when the moments are going to become crucial against the best of the best in the games matter to winning an ACC tournament or securing a regional or whatever it might be. You need to know what that looks like and which of these guys that you can trust and put them in dicey circumstances or situations. And so they're getting this a little bit more frequently. You had the one Sunday game, you had the USF game, you have this game. You're getting opportunities to throw guys into tough situations. Look, man, you had a freshman catcher back there, Hunter Carnes, making plays. I mean, saving you. I mean, crucial blocks.
Yeah, agreed. This is also, you could say, last Saturday's game, too. There were a couple of moments there where you needed to record outs, and it's not just about the guys on the mound. It's about the ball being put in play in those situations and recording outs and being able to handle those moments. Against last year's expectations, as the season went on, it would be happening too often that you're in these high leverage moments. Against this year's expectations, I think it's right on track.
Yeah.
Link had told us, and he had warned us that he was worried. In this case, last night, the lineup actually produced enough, but he's worried about an underperforming lineup, and then he liked the pitching and the defense, which means that you're going to be playing in a lot of closer
games. Yeah.
Yeah. And these haven't all been close games, but they all haven't been blowouts either. So we're learning things about our team, and that's good. And last night you have a couple more answers and a couple more solutions. And then the news today on Max Williams is good. Link had his weekly press conference, and he said that he'll be fine. It actually hit him on the top hand.
Mm-hmm.
So for a lefty, that's over here on your left side. And that's just about a comfort level. with him being able to throw and swing the bat. But you could tell in his voice it's going to be weeks because he broke something. He'll be fine. It's just we got to manage it.
You ever get hit on the top of your hand with a baseball? Now, you wore a lot of shots.
Everywhere.
You got hit because you had – when Tom was young, for those that don't know the story, he had a stigmatism in his eye that they did not diagnose in a timely fashion.
Could have used it. Left eye was 215. I mean,
Tom was in essence blind as a bat
in my left eye.
In his left eye, he's a right-handed hitter, so that would be I can't see the ball.
And I didn't stand, for the people on Warchant TV, I didn't stand like this looking at the pitcher. I stood like this.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Yeah. Couldn't see. Ball coming at his ribs, coming at his face, coming at his hip, hands, chin, forearm, wrist. Never saw it. Wore it on the regular to a point where they had to go get him checked out. Like, what the hell? Move out of the way.
Yeah.
So there's
I took one in the sternum.
Hey, when you coach or when your kids play Little League, when Bryce first signed up, I mean, that's the funny thing. They have to teach him how to turn. They teach him to take it in the back.
This number.
Yeah. But kids get flustered and they'll sometimes turn into the ball, and you see kids just wear it in the solar plexus. And you're like, no, that's not what you want to do.
No, that was me. I played a team that was sponsored by Rita's Italian Ice one night, and 4 at-bats, I got hit 4 times.
Did you say I'm not done with this one?
Oh, it was the same pitcher for 3 of them. And the third time, I remember his face.
He felt bad.
He's so nervous.
He's like, this kid doesn't move.
Well, right over the plate.
Yeah.
Jerk face.
I'm a little kid.
And so am I.
I don't have control.
I'm a half-blind little kid. So
wearing baseball socks.
I mean, so the second one I went down in a heap because he hit me between the hip and the ribs.
Down in a heap.
Well, because he hit me between the hip and the ribs, which is there's padding there only, so you lose your breath. So I did develop a fear of that, but you could put me on an ice surface or a rink of any kind, and you could wind up for a slapper, and if it hits me, I don't care. Because I could see it. It's the fear of the unknown.
Oh, my Lord. Getting hit is no fun. And I don't care if it's a breaking ball or not. People who at least it's curveball. Like, hey, you ever been hit? You ever had somebody throw a baseball at, say, 40 miles per hour just at your ribs? Tell them it's just a changeup. Yeah, man, it hurts. It's not cool.
Oh, buddy, I mean, this will make you laugh more than the other stuff does. I've told you this before, but this always makes you laugh. I took it in the face, a baseball in the face twice in just warm-ups.
That's when you know you're blind. It should be almost impossible.
It should be.
Almost.
Because the person is throwing from here on the right, and that's where my left eye is, and I don't diagnose that it's on its way, and then, I mean, blood all over.
Right in the face.
Blood all over, yeah. Anywhere that you can get hit by a baseball, I've been hit.
Mm.
You ever need expert reaction on that? I got you.
Did your dad start going, son?
He's confused, which is interesting and frustrating. And Dad, if you're listening, I love you. We all grow as people. But he had the opposite. His right eye was extremely weak and his left eye was strong. So you would think, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's get me to the doctor.
I had a kid when I was on the Shook Astros.
Shook?
The Shook. Shook. I'm sure the Shooks are dead as a door now.
Oh, wow.
It was a husband-wife team. I hated both of them. And, I did. Hated them. Yeah, I don't think they listen. I don't care. But, yeah, they were pains in the ass. But that first team that when we were playing fast pitch, the first time you play fast pitch is the first time, obviously, that you're subject to getting hit. And a kid named Omar, biggest kid in the league, I was scared to death, not going to lie. I got up in the batter's box with no courage whatsoever. The kid was throwing heat to me. I thought it was heat. It was probably nothing, but it felt like real heat. And I had this stupid Gary Carter stance with my hands way up.
Oh, okay.
And just on the ribs. And you're trying to be tough, but you can't breathe. And you want to just take the base.
Mm-hmm. And
you're like, but I wanted to cry. I did. I didn't. But I wanted to.
As long as it hits a bone, I know at the major league level, that's bad news. You don't want that. You want it to go off the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your kids, your skin and bones. As long as it goes off a bone, I could get to the first base area. But if it just goes in a place where you don't have anything, that's when you go down. Right? Off the ribs, I had the baseball stitches you could see on the ribs.
Yeah. I told you the night I walked into stadium in Gainesville, Florida State Florida, the aforementioned game I was doing color with Lee Bowen for. I walked in with Matt Britton, my buddy who went on to work in baseball forever, and we're just talking. They're taking BP. We walk in the outfield gate to come in, and I hear the ball coming through the air. But I could see, like, you just hear heads up, and we both do the thing, and he just wears it. And I got to give him credit to this day. He just goes, "Oh, I just wore that."
Yeah.
And then we saw the seams of the ball.
It's
I mean, just embedded.
That'll happen. And you have to grin and bear it. That is the moment that you grin and bear.
Oh, yeah. We've all done it. I mean, you learn early on the grin and bear it technique is I stubbed my toe in the driveway because I wasn't wearing shoes. And you get that flap of skin that comes down off the front of the toe.
Hey, man. Yeah.
And you just got to go, "Oh, that's not good."
Well, or the corner of a table. A low-lying coffee table corner. We've got these 2 chairs in our living room that I don't understand.
The shin
Right.
shot. No, sir.
Because they had metal corners. And once the grandkids were born, my sister's
we're probably going to pick this
kids,
up, get it out of here.
Oh, they put those little rubber covers on them. Like, could we not have done this when I was 12?
Tony said something in the chat that makes me laugh because it is me. I'm that guy. And I watch a gazillion games. I watch all of our games, of course, but I'm going to watch my Pirates out of the 162. I'm going to catch 140. Can't imagine that I'd miss more than, say, 22 games like in a given season. I'm pretty much always going to catch them.
Yeah.
Maybe on a Saturday night if I go out to eat with the family or go to a movie or something like that, maybe I don't catch that game, but I'll go back the next morning and watch
or you'll catch 15 very important pitches loading the app just for that moment.
Just for that moment,
you see the game set. Well, MLB TV for this one.
Yeah,
hang on.
Right.
Its base is loaded one out.
Right. But yeah, it's you guys know that it's the worst. And but anyhow, I hate walks too. And I will watch especially late in games, especially from relievers, specialty guys. So you think.
Especially first batter they face.
Oh, no. And then I'll always hear that announcer that loves to tell you, well, sometimes it's tough to get used to the mound here as opposed to the bullpen mound. Well, I don't know, Bob. He's making $18 million this year. I'm going to need him to get used to that mound with the quickness. Kind of part of the gig. Yeah. That's how it works.
For me, that's Diaz, and he's been largely very, very good, but there are days, just with any closer, and it's Keith Hernandez. He always gets mad, but when it's 2-0, you hear, oh, like that. Yeah, that's outside. It's 2-0. You're, he doesn't trust his fastball today, Gare.
Yep.
That's right, Keith.
Yep. And now you're going to sit there and now you got to wear the agony that's coming next.
Right. I'm sitting slider, Gare. He doesn't trust his fastball.
It's a slow burn is the problem. Every reliever that screws you, because they are all personally screwing you over. You, the fan of a team that has the right stuff, meaning you sit through 3 hours of baseball. You build a 4-2 lead going into the 8th. You feel good about, hey, we got our setup guy and our closer. Until the leadoff walk. Then the leadoff walk happens, and it's as if the other 7 innings never happened.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that clutch 2-out, 2-strike hit, runner at second, into the alley to score the go-ahead run, get ready to throw it out the window because ass-face over here is going to walk that dude in 4 pitches. That's exactly what I think about.
And then you get the 1-1. Oh, a jam shot over the head of Alonso. That's going to drop. Oh, okay. Extra bases here.
Yeah,
for Williams.
Second and third, nobody out.
Right, and 4-2 in your head. You're like, well, it's tied.
We're tied now.
Even though it actually is tied less often than you think.
Right.
With runners on second
but
and
you've
third,
already assumed the tie is happening now. Can we get out of this inning tied?
Right.
Can we just get out of this inning tied?
Right.
Is what you're now thinking.
And if you're watching the national broadcast, they say, well, 7 pitches into this inning, and we've got a ball game. Yes, that's right. In a matter of 7 pitches, you've changed my entire mood.
It's crazy how it happens.
Thanks a lot, Edwin.
And it's a 162-game season, and yet I'll still get up. This is what we're going to do out here tonight. And I walk around. It's like game 37, Jeff. Calm down. It's going to happen. But it doesn't have to. Do your job.
Well, it's R5 against their ace tomorrow. We just lost the series. We needed to win today.
Man, I think the thing is, we would all actually prefer that somebody just drives a ball into the gap followed by a stinging single up the middle. You're like, no problem. Guys hit their way on. What are you going to do? Good piece of hitting, buddy. You're okay with it. It doesn't make you happy, but you're going to live with it.
Yeah.
I'm even okay when I see like the hanging slider, like last night. You see a hanging slider, and you're like, woo, that's pissed on. Yeah. Can't leave that there. We all say the same stupid lines. Bad spot. That looked about belt high. Yeah, like whatever it is. But you'll live with that because somebody had to get on top of the baseball. They did what they needed to do. It was earned in a weird way.
Right. Rather than a 4-pitch walk followed by 2-0. So here comes the pitching coach again, which that's what drives me nuts. When the pitching coach has to come out for any visit, Mike Posey, Jeremy Hefner, Maddox's brother, who's been doing it forever.
Yes.
I don't know his name. I know it's brother of Maddox.
Yeah.
Anytime a pitching coach comes out that's with my team, I am so frustrated.
I like watching Micah. He's just totally chill.
It's about what it represents.
Yeah, why is this happening? Yeah.
Right.
Mike Maddox.
Thank you very much.
With
the handlebar mustache.
With the mustache Maddox family, and has been around for a very long time, currently with the Texas Rangers.
I'm sure Braves fans felt that way. Mazzoni, right? Was it
Leo
Mazzoni?
Leo Mazzoni, rocking his ass off back and forth forever like a clown.
Right. If Leo walks out, if you did your job, Leo, earlier in the week, you would need to be out here. That's how you feel. And then he leaves, and it's 2-0, strike 1, strike 2, and that's when you get the bloop. Really good pitch.
Oh,
really good pitch.
Yeah. You fooled him and got screwed because baseball's cruel.
You poisoned me with hope that we're going to get out of this jam. No.
That's what happens. What a game we love. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 18616-186.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Gather around Tallahassee. It's time to fire up the grill and make some unforgettable family memories, courtesy of Hearth and Patio. Whether it's juicy steaks, succulent burgers, or those special family recipe ribs, they've got the grills that will make your backyard the hottest spot in town. From gas to charcoal, they have the perfect grill for every meat lover's dream. Call Hearth and Patio today, where the quality of your cookout is their passion. Give them a call today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. I'll get to it just because it does involve a Knoll, and I know the answer. That's the other reason I'm going to get to it. First and foremost, speaking of Knolls, I have Daniel Berger today. It's a good day to have him. He went 8 under, shot a 63, despite the fact that a ball got stuck in the tree on the first hole he played. So that might have been a little 9-10 under action had that not happened, but good day all around. Folks are going low at the Cognizant. It's happening. They got a perfect day on underway here in Palm Beach Gardens. The old 67 degrees with 5-mile-per-hour winds, Tom. That'll work.
And the greens look as smooth as can be. So if you can see the read, it's going to go exactly where you think it's going.
So I bring up Daniel Berger, former Knoll. Guy's had a rough go for about a year and a half due to injury. Has come all the way back now and is playing good golf. So this is, of course, he knows. It's one of the reasons I picked him. Jake Knapp, who's got as sweet a tempo and a swing you'll ever see. It's like Freddie Couples-esque gorgeous. Threw down with a 59 today. The old minus 12 in the clubhouse after one day is something. In a weird way, my competitors in that money league that I'm in, one of them has Jake Knapp, which means I'm screwed because I didn't win the bonus money for the low score of the day with Daniel Berger 63. While slightly annoying, does say to me I'm going to be all right because 59s are often followed up by 75s. So let's just, Jake, I like you, but go out there and shoot your 78 tomorrow.
That was a cool 12 birdies, 6 pars.
12 birdies.
Yeah.
Fellow Knowles is where I was going with all of this, and they're out there on the course as well. So I will update you with that. Vincent Norman is 3 under in the clubhouse on the day with a 68. Come on, Vincent Norman. Saw a cool commercial with him last night in Hawaii. Luke Clanton is in the clubhouse at 4 under, tied for 22nd. That's a 67. And for it is true, if Mr. Clanton is to make the cut, he will have earned his PGA Tour card. Those of you worried about whether or not he would stick around, don't worry. I've already asked the question, and I have received the affirmative. He will stay here in an effort to win Trey Jones and Florida State Golf their first national championship. He has already told them that. He's confirmed that. All of that is, he's fine, guys. He's got money. And then I'll have status.
Well, and then there's a chance. That means distinct chance, unless he has some sort of exemption that we don't see coming. But he's playing in Glenarvan, Seminole Intercollegiate in a couple of weeks. Go see yourself a future tour pro, along with many others. It's not like Florida State's the only team that has him. It's a really cool thing to be able to watch college golf at this level. You've got the men's team playing in Thomasville in a couple weeks. the women's team with the #1 amateur in the world and one of the few people to beat Lottie Wode this year on the same team. That's later in March. And then a regional will be hosted at Seminole Legacy coming up in May, which is awesome.
When you go out there to watch that, first of all, I mean, I know a lot of you listening to this are like, all right, let's move it on from the golf talk, but it is relevant to Florida State. They've got a lot of guys on tour right now doing really good things, and they've got some more on the way. But if you do like to see professionals doing their thing, or soon-to-be professionals, people playing at that level, and Luke Clinton is playing at that level, see it week to week, it's amazing. It's really the sport. It is the sport that allows you to get closest to the action and watch form, watch everything from, the way that guys choose to attack holes, attack, certain looks, just like it's amazing to watch the strategy, course management, swing, the tempo, the distances are uncanny. But to stand there next to somebody who's playing at a professional level, and to see the way they swing, the sound of the ball off the club is just like in Major League Baseball. When you go and watch batting practice and up steps Aaron Judge, sounds a little different, and you're immediately mesmerized by it. It's something.
To that end, I'm submitting right now that we should take a work holiday on Thursday, May 15th of this year.
Sure. There's nothing happening in May. I may take the month off.
Well, here's what we can do. We can take that next day as well, and we can play Legacy just after they wrap up hosting the regional and play it
from the tips.
We should one day just for fun. Maybe
they have the tips beyond the tips.
They do. Maybe we should play that as a scramble and see if we can break 85 together.
I know that Trey purposely had Jack design that thing so that someday maybe they could host a PGA event. Like the whole idea was we want the best in the world, the longest hitters in the world, to play a course that they don't find all that short. They don't find it easy. And so if you that's Ludwig Aberg is out there practicing at that location for that reason. I mean, good God.
So we need to take those holidays.
Yeah, we should do it.
And then one of those days, maybe Friday. So Thursday would be our practice round. And then Friday we go for it. We try to break 85 in a 2-man scramble from the
tips.
Yes.
The real tips, not the member tips, the tips.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The pros tips.
Give it a shot.
I'm in. I mean, I love anything like that.
That course will be pristine.
Yeah.
And brown.
Well, think how good Glenn Arvin's going to look.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyhow, yeah, there are a lot of pros, a lot of guys. And you know what's cool about this bunch? A lot of these guys come back. A lot of these guys like to, see how the team's doing, come back and check in on Trey and the program. They're giving back. It's nice to see. So all they got to do is finally, this is it, cross the finish line, get you that national championship, put it to rest. Don't become like baseball, where we're waiting still all these years. And it's so hard. In any given year, when you think about, is this going to be the year, you recognize that the odds are completely stacked against you. I don't care if you're the best team in baseball, the odds are stacked against you. You get plus money betting, a lot of times on teams that are going to win 100 games in Major League Baseball. If you pick them to win the World Series, you still get plus money. It's a hard thing. Injuries happen. And in golf, guy has a bad day at the office. I mean, let's be honest. Luke didn't exactly play great when we had our chance the last time. Probably why he came back. Sure, he didn't feel great about that effort. I don't know if it's the effort, but
results.
Execution.
Yeah.
I don't think he felt great about that. That's a toughie. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A 26-year-old woman incarcerated at the Leon County Detention Facility died Monday night after displaying what the Leon County Sheriff's Office said was a medical emergency. No foul play is suspected at this time. After the woman displayed a medical emergency at the detention facility, she was transported to a local hospital. However, she was pronounced deceased around 11:30 p.m. An autopsy will be conducted by the medical examiner's office to determine the cause and manner of death. The Wakulla County Sheriff's Office is investigating an alleged animal abuse case. In a social media post Tuesday evening, the Sheriff's Office said
happy hour. We would prefer it to be a healthy happy hour, and that's where my friends at Cornbread Hemp come into play. Your Healthy happy hour, a natural and healthier way to experience a carefree moment. You can relax without doing the damage that alcohol sometimes inflicts. No, sir. Cornbread's THC gummies offer a balanced sense of happiness and relaxation. Work it into your weekly routine. Maybe when you go to bed at night, calm the brain. You're not loopy. You're just feeling right. Go to sleep, get up, start your day feeling good. They are Farm Bill compliant, legal for adults over 21 years of age. Cornbread uses no harsh solvents, none of those pesticides and the like or anything like that. 10 milligrams of THC per gummy. That's for you. That's right. That's the way it works. If you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, you have to give Cornbread Hemp a try. They've created a first ever USDA organic THC gummy, 100% legal. Special offer to Jeff Cameron Show listeners. You get 30% off your first order. Visit cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use promo code warchant at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use code warchant for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier happy hour.
CCC 1331204.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's families. There's different families. And,
so if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch
or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And
I've never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Tom, I don't do it often, but it's the second time in maybe as many weeks that I've talked about a recruit that committed to us. Now, we got people to fight off for a long time to make sure we hold on to them, and I'm sure that will not be a fight that is easily won. But I took your advice and clicked on, is it K-Ron? Maycock?
Yeah, that's right. He just got his 4th star after committing, too.
Well, you know why I clicked on it? I've been nervous about linebacker for a long time. It seems like we're making inroads a little bit here on linebacker play, or at least the kinds of quality players playing the position that we're bringing in. And I clicked on his profile there and looked at some highlights and went, hey, this is a dude.
Welcome aboard.
And I'm really, really loving an idea of having a linebacker with the last name Maycock. How great is that? I mean, yes, sir. I like him. We're going to have fun saying that, talking about the ways in which he dominates. So I'm very excited. I hope he fulfills his destiny and that he makes his way to Tallahassee and that we have one of the better linebackers in the country. And I hope he's a little crazy.
He plays with an edge, a significant visible edge. There's a look to it. You don't see it very often.
Correct.
Here, but there's a look to it, and he's got it.
I've been looking for a little crazy for a while. Plus, he's Miami Central. So I saw that he was a good linebacker at Miami Central, and I went, well, all right, we're fishing in the right lake here. This is the right thing to do.
Yes, and that body type is tweener-ish at the moment.
Completely.
But guys going into his senior year, we'll see. 6'2" is what he lists himself as, over 200 pounds. So if you get it to 225, then you could play linebacker. If not, It's a 3-3-5 with a lot of hybridisms.
Why do they always screw up the weights on these recruiting service sites? Why am I always looking at guys that are like 162? Well, he tells us he's 284. What the hell are we doing here?
Well, I think a lot of times kids exaggerate and or outright lie. And so the
sure.
recruiting services go with the previous time they have been registered at an event.
Well, is it 3 years ago when he was 9? I mean, what are we doing?
I'm not going to, at the same time, I'm not going to defend the recruiting services and the detail work that they do. I don't know what that operation looks like, but I do know that kids oftentimes will put things on their bios and you, man, get the hell out of here. You ain't 245. Things like that. You ain't 6'3".
Well, we beat out so far Miami, Texas A&M, and Penn State. There's a very good chance, obviously, that one of our own, Derek Nicholson, is going to continue to chip away. And let's not pretend that John Papuchas hasn't dropped the ball a bunch of times when it comes to recruiting and securing the recruit to the finish line, Tom. He's a fumbling dude when it comes to that final day.
I don't know. He's been a little bit better than some of his former defensive staff members.
There have been a whole lot of...
He was still the edge rusher guy for the end of the cycle last cycle, and we closed strong there. We closed.
Had a whole lot of drops, a whole lot of mistakes in the last moment. Now, sometimes that was because others were willing to pay an exorbitant fee for a player that we had locked up. But
Auburn for that one kid. That's not his fault. The
Well-
Auburn kid. It's not. Were we going to match? I don't think so.
Listen. There's too many drops. Too many drops. We got to bring it on home, John.
Boy, John, you are the Mike Evans of this coaching staff. Jeff is going to be watching you like a hawk.
Let's get across that finish line, John. Now, Patrick Surtain also is recruiting him, and that makes sense given the part of the state. But I just let's go now. I'm paying attention a little bit more to recruiting than I ever have. Too many drops, and I'm tired of sucking. I'm tired of us being an afterthought in college football. This is ridiculous. And it bothers me more every day. It really does. This is not okay, man.
The problem is it's idle hands. There's nothing going on in football right now. So all you can do is stew, live in the stew.
You do. And you sit around and think about it. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We're actually sitting here trying to, piece together, salvage something of a program that was, it's just better than this. I know that. And I'll just say that. And again, I don't want to wallow in it. I don't want to spend all day on it. I just, I don't like aspiring to be slightly better than average as some sort of relief where you're like, listen, we all know what it was last year, guys. And we've talked about it every which way to Sunday, but maybe we'll go 6-6 this year. Oh, that conversation infuriates me.
Well, then you may want to take a leave of absence for the next 9 months because that's the real conversation.
What, we can get to 6-6?
No, the previous part of the statement that you were saying, which is I don't want us to be slightly above average and have that be a relief. That's the job right now, sadly.
No, because I think you can go from in this era. I think you can go from being, obviously, you can go from being 12-0 to 2-10. Crazy. So why can't it work the other way?
Oh, now this is a very me question that you're asking right now. That's a very optimistic question. If I did W's and L's with you right now,
they're not going 12-0.
Yeah, right, or even 10-2. Would you assign a better than 10% chance that they go 10-2 this season?
No, I mean with Bama on the schedule, that doesn't help. So trying to get to 10 wins seems fairly absurd.
I do want to make sure that in this moment I appreciate your defiance, that you aspire for something better.
Yes, I absolutely aspire for something better than trying to, race to 6 or 7 wins so that we can exhale and realize that we're not the laughing stock of the ACC, but maybe the 6th place team. That pisses me off to no end. It's ridiculous. It should never happen. It should never happen. And my dad and I got into this argument.
Aha.
But not recently. I mean, when he was here last time, a few weeks back, I was like, you know what, Dad? It's absurd to listen to you sit over there and go, I'd be happy with 6-6. What has happened to you? Buck up.
It's one thing to say that, but it's another thing to look at the roster and expect 11 or 10 out of this.
I'm not expecting them to win 11 games next year. I just hate that I can't.
Yeah.
I hate that I can't. I mean, I hate that I can't expect them to win 10 games next year. So it's just a little sort of a...
Even 9 would be a big difference from 8, because that means by definition you have beaten at least
you beat
one,
a good team somewhere in there.
At least one. And if you had to slip up against a bad team, that means that you beat 2 good teams on your schedule to get to 9. 9.
That's
3.
actually a fun question. Would you be willing to accept a slip up against a team that is either your equal or slightly below your level, and trade it in that disappointing loss, that weekend where you go, what the hell, man?
Stanford.
Yeah, on the road at Stanford. Would you be willing to trade that L, or you take that L in order to win a game against, well, I know you'd do it in order to win a game against Miami, but would you do it to win a game against Clemson, Florida, or, yeah, the answer is yes for Florida too. So removing the rivals, would you do it for Clemson or Alabama?
Absolutely.
You trade the loss to Stanford so that you beat Alabama or Clemson.
I'd take it for Alabama. You need it. You need that win. If you're telling me...
It'd be cool to beat Clemson more than once in the last 14 effing years or whatever it is. I mean...
Yes, it would. But for the good of everybody's psyche, for the good of their hearts, you need that one earlier. Clemson would be a nice...
Oh, that would be a
victim.
huge road win in November against the class of the ACC. That would be a massive step up.
But beating Alabama to start off the season, it might throw expectations into totally unreasonable places for a month. In fact, it would, because you got 2 patsies and a bye, so you'd be undefeated for a month and thinking you're big and bad, and you're telling me in this scenario you still have 4 losses or 3 losses. I still think that winning that first game, if you're telling me it's a choice between either Bama or Clemson, that win over SEC, Bama, all that stuff, especially for our fan base, beaten down as it is by second-class citizenry in the ACC, that would be a tremendous moment that you couldn't. Clemson doesn't rise to that level of valuable.
It's crazy. We still lead that all-time series 21-16 against Clemson, but yeah, and I over-exaggerated, but it's a toughie, man. You go back to 2000 and let's just say 2004. You had 21 years. We've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That's a tough one, man.
It's BS, is what it is.
It's nonsense. That's you are. If it were reversed, if it was a different, as Jimbo once said, I would tell you that we would refer to them in a certain way that is unbecoming.
Absolutely. And if you're in Ann Arbor, Michigan, you'd be doing the segment about Florida State Clemson than I did forever about Ohio State, Michigan. I'm like, look at all this red in this rivalry page. Michigan's won once in the last 15 years, and that, obviously has changed in the last few.
You know what's funny, Tom, is I was just thinking about this. In 1993, I was at Florida State Clemson in Tallahassee, and we won 57-0. It was part of a stretch where we won, something like 12 in a row against it, something absurd. And yeah, just ass kicking after ass kicking. Like a lot of them were just thorough beat down. Mid-90s, we beat them 34-3. We beat them, I'm trying to think, another time we beat them 48-0. I've been at some Florida State Clemson games in which it's just Clemson was a lot like Duke.
Yeah, 48-0 was in 1998.
Yeah, I was there.
34-3 was in 96.
I was there for that too.
57-0 was in 93.
Yeah, that's what I said. 93. I was there in attendance for that one. Remember it well. I remember all of them really well, including ones that were ridiculously close that didn't need to be. We had a 3-point win in a game we were heavily favored to win. That was a year that we won the national championship. We were awesome, and that game was way too close.
11 in a row was the number from, and in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in the first 16 games in the history of the rivalry, we're 14-2.
Oh, yeah, that's why we still hold the all-time series lead, 21-16, is that they had a ton of catching up to do. Unfortunately, the 2000s ushered in a time in which that catching up would begin. And, listen, I can deal with having a hard time winning at Clemson. That is a good fan base. They love football. They feel about football the same way we do. They've got a grown-ass man stadium, just like we do. They do the right things. They center everything around football.
Yeah, and they act like adults on game day.
They're passionate. They're all that stuff. There you go.
It's a good fan base.
It is. They do a good job. But so I can live with that. Going up there is tough. It's just like anywhere in the SEC, it's tough to go and win at certain, like at LSU. Like if you're a team in the SEC and you've struggled to win on the road at night at LSU, really bitch about it. You're like, well, man, a lot of people don't win there. It's really hard to do. I feel that way about us at Clemson for a lot of these years. I get it. And teams should once again feel that way about coming here. That's how that should feel to most teams.
Well, with 13 tiers of luxury seating, God knows that they will be very soon.
Oh, goodness gracious. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your friendly neighborhood bar and grill just got a whole lot closer to home. You can now order delicious Smitty's Tap House and Grill for delivery directly to your doorstep. Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com, click the order online button, and choose pickup or delivery. Enjoy Smitty's famous handmade pretzel with beer cheese, juicy pub burger, or even the amazing schnitzel sandwich, delivered fresh right to your doorstep. Support local and order online today for takeout or delivery at Smitty'sTapHouse.com, where everybody knows his name.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, this is Rudy Ferguson, pastor of New Birth Tabernacle of Praise. Be encouraged, stand still, and watch God move with your morning word with Pastor Ferg. It's something God wants to share with you. Tune in every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. with the Morning Word with Pastor Ferg. I believe it's going to bless you and keep you for the week to come. Right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's PBR Tallahassee at Donald L. Tucker Civic Center, March 14th and 15th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Crescent, Tallahassee.
Listen, we're all trying to get it together with our finances. We got to make sure that we're not paying out monies to people that we've forgotten about from years ago. I'm especially guilty of this, have been for a long time. And, like sometimes you get a subscription in one place using one card, then you get a subscription in another place using another card. And most of the time we do it because we just want it to be temporary. We're saying to ourselves, well, I don't have that service or I don't have that thing, but I'd like it because there's a special offer going on right now with that service or thing. Maybe I'll jump on board and see what it's all about. People have been talking about it. Maybe I'll just watch that thing and then I'll cancel because I've got a free 30-day trial of this thing. Or maybe it's a different kind of service, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden you say, I'm going to pull the trigger on that because I can always cancel. But you forget to cancel. And the next thing you know, you look back on it and you think, good Lord, I'm paying out money all over the place. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Boom, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings, which is a good thing. Rocket Money has over 5 million users. They've saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/gameon today. That's rocketmoney.com/gameon. rocketmoney.com/gameon.
Pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Well, it's so great being back in the Oval Office looking out over the White House lawn. Speaking of lawns, I got to tell you about the Lawn Johns. They're the best. Anything from basic lawn care like mowing, edging, weed eating, and they can do even a full landscape design. Believe me, it's incredible. In fact, Elon and I have big plans, and we're going to grow grass on the moon, and guess who's going to be doing the lawn up there? Yeah, you got it. The Lawn Johns. Call them right now, or for a free estimate, you can visit them online at thelawns.com.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good to be here. Thanks for doing all that. Right off the bat, Chris wants to know when we get a baseball watch along. That would be kind of weird. Baseball paces differently. It'd be one long conversation, which might be interesting. We try to do the whole conversational thing on a daily basis. I don't structure the show to be like other shows. I structure it like it's a long-form podcast if I can, even though we do have commercial breaks.
Well, clearly he watched our watch along with Tennessee last year in the CWS. That was enjoyable until
it wasn't,
obvious.
and you could sense it and feel it, and
Yeah.
we knew what was coming, and yeah.
I feel like that might not be a bad idea for a midweek Florida. That seems like a nice place to do it. It's because you're in the cut of a week. You don't necessarily want to do a watch along on a Saturday or a Sunday, especially if you're grilling out, hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Game on.
Don't want to do that.
The
No.
Tuesday night seems a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. Well, I'm always up for it if the timing is right. So sure, I'll do that. Somebody asked us, would we take 34-31 right now? Alabama wins. Oh, Trailer Swift. If I were to offer you a final score of 34-31 Alabama wins, would you take it? So obviously, in lieu of having a chance to win the game, you know the result in this scenario. Somebody's got a chance to put their hand on destiny, if you will, and shape it, and they walk through the door today and they say, Tom Lang, I'm going to do this one time. You know you're not as good as Alabama. I know you're not as good as Alabama. There's a chance Alabama beats your ass and furthers your misery, sends you spiraling back into that death cycle again. But I'll make that go away. It's a great game. It's a back and forth. 6 lead changes. It's everything you've ever wanted. They're physical. They're playing smart. They're playing hard. They're playing well. But alas, they're just not there yet. And Alabama kicks the game-winning field goal as time expires. You're 0-1. But it's 34-31, and the nation watched a Florida State football team that looked nothing like the team from just a year ago, poised to compete at a high level and perhaps take back the ACC championship. Do you take it? Or roll the dice. Let's see what happens. Maybe you win the game. Maybe I don't have to give you anything. Maybe you're just better than Alabama. Who knows? It's up to you. What do?
I think I have different answers for the different ball caps I wear. I think the business side of me has a certain answer, and I think the fan side of me has a different answer. 2 different answers.
The fan in you says what?
The fan in me stone cold stuns whoever offers that to me. I say,
no.
And then I do the stone cold no, let it ride. The business person in me says, yeah, I think that's a reasonable offer. In fact, if you're telling me that the scenario plays out with 6 lead changes, that's far better than they were up 34 to 10 and we make a late rally.
Yeah, right.
So you're guaranteeing me a good game, competitive game that we show mental toughness, wares, the ability to execute in tense moments. The business person in me says that's enough. That's enough for me to accept. But the fan says, you go to hell. No, roll the dice. Let's do this. Do it live.
I always have fun creating scenarios for big games from a great distance because build up to great games is part of the reasons you love, the seasons and the games. Like that's, oh man, can you believe we play such and such on a given year? I did the whole schedule peek ahead thing when I was a kid. I'm like, who do we play 2 years from now on the road? I would do that all the time. And I occasionally just drift off into, thought like, what's that going to be like when my dad and I go see us play such and such? That's going to be cool. Like I did that the first Notre Dame matchup, or I've done it with really any of the big name teams in college football that we've had the good fortune of playing. I did it back in, was it 2011 when we played Oklahoma there?
Yeah, 2010.
So I couldn't wait for that. Obviously, for multiple reasons for me, but yeah, I wanted to go into that stadium and see what that was, and for the first time since I was a little kid. Yeah, man, awesome. I create scenarios right now surrounding this Alabama game, and a lot of them are ugly. A lot of them aren't good. And I think it's because, obviously it's etched in my brain what we were and how far away we were, just how far away we were, impossibly far. I would get agitated when I'd hear people would say something disparaging about an average to subpar team in the Big Ten or the SEC, and they would say it with like no hint of irony. Like you do realize that team that you're talking about so poorly would whoop our ass by 6 touchdowns if we played tomorrow up there. If we were on the road against Alabama at night last year, how's that go? I don't care who's playing quarterback. How's that go? Not real good. They're gonna pick their score is what they're gonna do. So I would get agitated because I'm like, don't act like we're not what we are right now. This awful jumbled mess of a team. But yet, I also understand that, look, man, we are in a weird and very different era of college football. And I've seen it elsewhere. I watched it happen. We watched 2 teams compete for the national championship fall off a cliff.
Yes,
and lose 5 games.
Yes, they did.
We watched a team that it wasn't just Florida State that failed to live up to any sort of reasonable expectation. There were several teams that go, ooh, what happened there?
Well, it felt like in the beginning of the season that USC and LSU was a game for who wants to emerge as
and
finally
it was a great
legitimate.
game to watch.
It was in the moment. It reminds me at this point of going to Notre Dame, Texas all those years ago in 2016. That felt like an important game in the moment. It went to overtime. It was a classic. You had everything in that game, including a 2-point after touchdown block return that set the tone for overtime. Great game, incredible ratings. Mattered not.
No,
both teams
stunk. Yeah,
same thing there. LSU is underachieving. USC is just straight bad. So yeah.
Well, I think for that reason, you could argue that Kelly's on the hot seat.
Probably.
I think probably so. I mean, those Cajuns ain't having it. They're like, what are we doing around?
Right.
And Brian, frustrated.
And Brian Kelly's sitting down with the athletic director, and he sees the phone number ring, and it says South Bend, Indiana. He goes, "Was that Marcus Freeman's number? Are they talking to Marcus?"
Oh man, file him in. Yeah, it's just I do fall back on that when I get dark, when I start thinking like, oh man, we're not going to be any good again, and we're going to have to fire the guy, and I don't want to fire him, and now what are we going to do?
You got 2-10 PTSD.
I absolutely have it. It's weird because it's affected me many, many weeks and months later. We're basically in March, and I'm like, God, dog it, guys, did you know we were not any good at football?
You put your anger on layaway during the season. You were mad, but you were moving on.
I was measured.
Yeah, you're always moving on. Let's see if we can get these things done in the interim to help put out the fire. And now you're thinking about the fire, and you're saying, "Damn it, why were we on fire?"
It's ridiculous.
Why?
Yeah. No, I do. I sit around and I think, God, that's impossible. They were impossibly bad. Like, I have people who will either criticize or agree that this is the nature of the beast with anything that you say on a given show or a take or whatever it might be. And I'll catch a glimpse from time to time of those complaints or those compliments or whatever it may be or something in between. And I understand that that's just how it works when you give opinions on the air or you have, personality like mine. That's going to happen. And sometimes I'll look at the complaint and I'll think, there's a valid point in there. I probably should have added this point or that point, or even the compliment. And I'll go, I don't think you should have complimented me for that. That's just stating the obvious or whatever it might be. But I find that when I go back, I don't know how I didn't say crazy things during the 2-10 season this past year. I mean, that is absurd to go 2-10 at Florida State.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you could easily.
It was hard. Well, we said that in the throes of it, that it's hard to do this. This is hard to do. Like, it takes the amount it takes to turn in this result
Mhm.
for a season, not game by game, but this result for a season. That's a really difficult achievement. There are so many things have to conspire, and so many things have to go uncared for it to culminate in this, because you weren't besieged by injuries.
Well,
besieged
no.
by injuries, I should say.
No.
Like you were the year prior. The year prior was worse for injury luck than 2020.
Well, and it was all on one side of the ball
Right.
over and over and over again. Yeah, over and over and over again.
You had a few receivers hurt. Was that going to make a difference last year? Maybe a little bit. Maybe you scored 20 a couple more times. But maybe you win 4 games. But holy cow. It took a lot to land at 2-10.
Well, it would have taken too much energy to express outrage every time they lost, because good Lord, that's all, you would have been doing it forever. And it, I remember watching, I thought the Duke game pretty much encapsulated our ridiculous season, where you found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory that could have been yours very, very easy. You really were that incompetent.
Hell, you're in the SMU game as long as you want to be in the SMU game if you handle details. Doesn't mean you win it. That team wasn't special.
No.
See, that's the thing. And I remember in the moment, it sounds like sour grapes.
The team got better as the year went on, though. That SMU team did get better as the year went on.
They did.
Yeah, they weren't as good when we played them as they were at the end of the year.
At the time it hits Morlock's chest plate, you're in that game.
Absolutely, you are. Catch the damn ball.
Right. And that's the thing where in the moment, people are so mad. They're saying, well, it's sour grapes. We're not any good. I'm like, well, just trust me when I tell you that in watching Memphis and watching us lose to Memphis in the way we did, that is unfathomable.
And then Navy dropped 60-something on them.
Right. SMU was similar in that moment. Yes, they got better. They got more confident, and Jennings came into his own until he didn't in the playoff. But in that moment, that SMU team that we saw hadn't done anything. And they were just, the red carpet was rolled out before them, but they took it, which is to their credit. We had a red carpet rolled out for us in the way the schedule was laid out.
The hard part about the Memphis game here was that you have the opening play that gives you the evidence you need to run straight at them. I mean, just drove their ass back 7 yards, and somehow those obvious points of data, context clues, you don't follow it up by doing the same thing.
No, because we fumbled.
You go away. Yes, of course we did.
Yes, and that scared us. Well, then we're going to throw bubble screens and have a guy not block for his teammate and get him hurt.
Yeah. Well, and
I'll
also,
never
you
let it, I'll never
also
let
you
that.
got the wrong guy blocking. You had all kinds of things in that situation. Bakeman 66 writes, I said crazy things during 2-10. My wife just looked at me. Yeah. My wife would get up and walk into the other room. She doesn't care enough to watch the whole situation unfold into the unmitigated disaster is coming. Like, she could see the first quarter and be like, looks like last week. And she'd get up and leave. And
She'd be right.
And she'd be right. She'd go do something else.
Yeah,
she'd go do something else.
I don't think she was alone, man. I think a lot of people thought, I'm going to go
do something else.
Something else.
Anything other than this. I'm going to go stand in the grass. I'm going to go stand in the grass and listen to the chirping of the crickets. It's a much better use of my time.
You know, they say Saturn's out tonight, and it's the largest it's going to be in the next 8 years.
So, one of my brothers and I, we make fun, the one that lives in New Hampshire, we make fun of each other these days because all too frequently there'll be a message that one of us leaves the other, and somehow the weather gets incorporated. And one day I said, have you noticed in the last few years, Aaron, one of us will mention the weather every time we talk? It's happening. It's happening. We're getting really old. It's absurd. Soon you're going to talk to me about the birds in your backyard. I mean, this is where it's headed. And yet I feel like we all could have done that. We could have, like, during the season, I would have been like, I'm going to call Aaron and talk about birds. This is a better use of my time.
There is a conversation in the locker room right now on the site. And the title of the thread is, let me make sure I get this right. So I'm going to use the wrong word. Dynamic tolling. Okay. This is about dynamic pricing for toll roads. And in New York, that's a big deal right now with congestion pricing going into the city.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited to see that title of the thread. Let's get in
I
there.
can talk about dynamic tolling.
I got thoughts.
Yeah.
I got thoughts about dynamic tolling. And you got people in there talking about experiences from Texas and Illinois and Florida as it relates to dynamic tolling. I weighed in and gave some thoughts on New York. I was fired up to talk about toll roads.
Many years ago, I told you they never rescind. They never take back the toll. Yeah, it's always going to be there even after it's paid for.
It's even getting
roads
into
been
it
paid
now.
for by 9 years. Why are we still paying this toll?
One person has posted, well, I mean, look, if you're not going to accept a state tax in the state of Florida, then you're going to have to accept offsets like property taxes and dynamic tolling. So just get used to it.
Yeah.
Good point.
And you're like, yeah, so we're not talking Florida State athletics over here. This is great. Yeah.
And my response was, I do love the Suncoast. Now that is a toll road worth tolling on because it skips 19 going between Pasco County and Weeki Wachee and Homosassa. You skip all that. It is a beautiful, that's what toll roads are supposed to be. It's the Suncoast Highway.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Another reason not to talk about Florida State football. I'm sure. Yeah, well, that's where we're at. You know, I do want to talk about something good that happened, and I don't know why it got little to no attention paid to it. Like, it hasn't been a main topic, but it's something we should celebrate. It's the end of complete and utter nonsense that's been going on in our beloved game of football for a very long time, and I'll tell you what it is next. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up and gone when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Worth mentioning here, and I just saw that also posted, so pretty interesting, and I will get to it. Thanks for bringing it up in the chat. Let's see, Ira posted this, so I'll double-check it here. So work with me here. Got it.
We'll be solving for the future, I guess, in this particular case.
We can in a minute. Florida Supreme Court rules against the ACC in the legal tug-of-war with Florida State. The ACC wanted FSU's lawsuit put on pause due to litigation in North Carolina's court. It declined to accept the jurisdiction. So that is where we're at.
Yeah, this is a clear case, once again, of you're trying to race to a verdict in a certain state. And I would think, just on the hoof, I know that perhaps this can be appealed. I don't think so if a Supreme Court rules, though, right? If a Supreme Court in a state or the federal Supreme Court rules on something, that's just kind of it. But what you're trying to do is create, this is back to the old discussion point, you're trying to create leverage by a beat the clock.
Yeah.
Hey, time's running out.
Yeah.
Jim Phillips, you want to cut a deal or not? This, to me, would squeeze the ACC a little bit if you're allowed to proceed in the state of Florida, because it's going to get ruled in Florida State's favor in this state.
I would think.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I am too, Tom. I am too. So that's good news. Ooh.
Piece of candy.
Not
a piece of candy.
No, I'm going to have to. So next hour at the beginning, you're going to hear Tom and I talk about the passing of Gene Hackman, and we do talk about his movies and all these other things.
Is there new information?
Yeah, it says the search, it was called suspicious in a search warrant. There are no signs of a carbon monoxide leak, so this is not good. This is not good. Damn, man. Yeah. So you'll hear me say something. We didn't know that at the time. There you go. That's yeah. I don't know.
Huh.
Well, probably by the time the show ends, we'll know exactly. But yeah,
you'll have a suspect, because
let's hope there's a suspect. I guess. Like, what if?
What, you don't think Gene Hackman was trying to do
murder suicide? She could have been. Who knows? Certainly wasn't the dog.
She was 30 years as June. Oh, man.
So I mean, those,
stop feeding me processed foods.
I'm done with
I'm done.
That's it. Yeah. So I mean, their dog, her, his wife, 30 years younger, and him were all found dead at home. And I just assumed because there was no other thing attached to that story. I was like, oh, that must be terrible, like one of these carbon monoxide things.
She would have no motive. She's 30 years
well,
his
you're
junior.
crazy. I mean, that's the point.
I'm just saying she's 30 years his junior. The Hackman estate is in your. They'd been married since 1991, so they were together a long time.
Long time.
But you have a 30 more years of life ahead of you, young lady.
One might think, but if you're nuts, none of it matters.
That's true.
None of it matters. All right, I teased it, so I got to do it. It seems almost pointless now. We had two big things there. I know I'm disturbed by the Hackman news too, Tom. I'm like, what is happening?
The thumbnail for the extra video, because we're going with the video for today on the bonus hour. It says, Rest in peace, legend Gene Hackman.
Well, we can still say that.
Yeah.
But unless he's a triple murderer. He was 95. I don't know, man.
That's no defense. That's no defense.
I'm just saying. No, what I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know if he did anything. He didn't. I mean, maybe he went crazy in his old age. Old people sometimes snap.
Wasn't the initial report though that they were found in the bed together?
Well, I don't know about the bed. I just know that there was.
I had in my head like
there was. That's a beautiful thought, Tom. But I don't. I mean, all I know is that somebody called in. It's the classic. Like, I can't get a hold of Gene. It's been a day and a half.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that up close and personal.
We had that happen with Just Plain Jim here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Matt and he used to text all the time, and then a couple days worth of no text backs. Matt one day walks into the studio and goes, "I'm a little worried about Just Plain Jim." Called the sheriff's office. They went over there. He's dead.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at the time with you guys, but I didn't realize that's how it went down.
Yeah. I give credit to Matt. Yeah, he was worried. He literally, I was trying to tell him to calm down. I'm like, yeah, who knows? He's busy, whatever. What? I don't know. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. He hasn't texted me back in 2 days. I don't like this. I was like, okay, I can tell you're nervous about it. Put the call in.
I've seen that. Yeah, because you got to go through the motions. You got to call all the local hospitals and check those 1st. And yeah, man.
Oh, I really hope that we find out it was just something. I don't like. Poison in the well. I don't know. Like something happened. He was living on a ranch in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I don't know what happened. Were they all bit by a poisonous snake? Doesn't sound like
There's something I would say I'm bellying up that I can't right now. I hope it's not like another scenario that was with a much younger person in his family.
Oh, the wrestler or Phil Hartman?
Is that what happened with Phil Hartman?
Oh,
his wife, right?
Crazy wife shot him in the head while he was asleep. He was sound asleep. Well, at least he was asleep. He was out cold.
How do they know?
Well, he was out snoozing in the bed. She walked in. Pow! You know, his lights were already out. They just stayed out. You know, I hope he didn't see it coming, but
I got to go back and listen to that. I was still in shock when you told me that Gene was gone.
Well, he was 95.
No, but still, it's a legend, and we're on the air, so you're thinking about other things. Like, by the way, rest in peace, Gene Hackman. What?
Yeah, you didn't know it was coming. I've done that to you many times now. It's become a theme on the show. But in case we find out something terribly nefarious happened, when you hear that next hour, just know we didn't know it at the time. All right. Speaking of saying goodbye, let's say goodbye to something here that we can celebrate. There's nothing ominous about this at all.
Fantastic segue.
This is perfect. Goodbye, chain gang in the NFL. You are done. Technology has won. You're out of a job if you hold one of those chain gang things. That's it. The old man doesn't need to be running out there thinking maybe this is about where he landed.
Technically, they're out of a job. They're not quite out of a job yet, but yes. This is good news indeed.
The NFL will make a 21st century approach to its first down measurement system for the 2025 season, getting rid of the chain gang and instead going with a technology tracking system. We have been waiting. It did seem unreasonable to ask Ted, the fat 67-year-old with a bad knee, to race in and spot a ball with pinpoint accuracy after a dude running a 4.3 40 was tripped up in the open field. Oh, that was on the 27. I'm sure of it. You know, for years we've wondered when this was going to happen. Starting in the upcoming season, they're going to use a system. You'll like it. It's called the Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah. That was the original tennis technology.
Yeah. It is a virtual measurement to determine the line to gain. It will be the primary method for all measurements. For all of football's lifetime, the chain gang has existed, and while it was charming in 1954, it is outdated and useless and has been for some time. It will be on the sidelines, but it's used as a secondary method in case something screws up with the Hawkeye.
Yeah, so they're still employed.
Well, less of them. Because there was always the guy who would mark it, and the other guy who had the chain, and there was the other chain guy, and then you would have the guy with the little weight in the middle. You don't need all that.
And then the index card from the referee.
That's right. That's fun. Instead of bringing out the chains, so they're not going to do that. Lose a little bit of the drama. They'll go with a virtual measurement. The system works with cameras inside the stadium that track players, officials, and the ball. After the ball is spotted, the system notifies officials if a first down was achieved. How about that? It's about damn time. Let's go.
Almost there. This is a gateway thing again.
Yeah.
So it alerts the officials after the ball is spotted. It's not going to spot the ball for the officials, but we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah, but we'll know where that was supposed to be. And if you can do that, you can do all the other things you need.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawkeye system, extensive testing went underway in 2024, unbeknownst to us. That according to Kimberly Fields, NFL Senior Vice President of Football Operations. It would be tested during the 2024 preseason. It was. If there were issues with the system, the league would get rid of it. But for now, the league felt good about it, felt very comfortable. It was a dead-eye dick in the preseason, buddy. If it's not improving the game, making it more efficient, we're not going to do it, was what they said at the time. Instead, they feel like the integrity of the game is improved with the Hawkeye system.
Oh, breaking news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do love in the many articles in the AP about this. One guy wrote, the move has been widely desired by NFL fans who have mostly felt that the chain gang was an outdated system that couldn't give accurate measurements for down distance or whether a team picked up the first down at all. Yes, that's correct. Without the technology, there have been some controversial calls, to say the least. They do cite the Buffalo-Kansas City game most recently. Dan Quinn said he is for it. Other coaches at the Combine today being told about it said, yeah, good. They also want them to develop a way to, quote, more efficiently mark the ball as well. And I'm with you on that as well.
For crying out loud. For crying out loud.
That's
yes.
Good. That's a real good sign, though. That's really, we can't get upset. That's good stuff.
It's just that the advancements that they've made on the sideline for communication from the booth down to the field up to the booth, versus the days of quarterbacks picking up a phone and talking to the people upstairs.
Right.
I mean, they were willing to do that instantly. And that seems to be much more of a leap in logic or a leap in technology than what it would take for the on-field stuff. I'm glad it's here. I kind of wish you would still do the measurements on the field, though, and there's just a red light or a green light, LED, on the stick.
It lit up green.
It's
great.
got it. Yeah, man. People love the flashing lights.
That'd be fun. Prevent leaks before they start. Many large roof issues could have been avoided by fixing small leaks and defects before they worsened. Fix the minor issues to prevent the major issues that come later on. If a tree falls on your roof during the storm and you have structural damage, make sure you reach out to my friends at T-Spark Enterprises. They'll come inspect the roof. Best part is with T-Spark, it's one phone call because he can fix the roof. They can also work as licensed general contractors. They can also take care of any structural damage. It's a one-stop shop with T-Spark Enterprises. License number CGC 1525336, CCC 1331204.
Your local news now.
One Lafayette County man died early Tuesday morning after two semi-trucks collided head-on in Taylor County. The crash happened just before 8:45 a.m. on US 221. A semi-truck driven by a 71-year-old Lafayette County man was traveling north on US 221. The second semi-truck, driven by a 52-year-old Missouri man, was traveling south for unknown reasons. A semi-truck driven by the 71-year-old collided with the guardrail on the east shoulder before crossing over into the southbound lane. Moments later, the two semi-trucks collided head-on. The truck continued off the west side of the roadway over the guardrail and broke into several pieces. The other truck jackknifed and then came to a rest. The 71-year-old was pronounced deceased on scene. The other man was transported to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital by life flight with critical injuries. Neither man was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. This is Rachel Anay with your Roll Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 77. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. 49 tonight. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 72. Clear skies and dry Saturday and Sunday, mid-70s, Saturday, upper 60s by Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 74.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There it is. Oh, you two at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show, good show. Everything about it, nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
No.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Let's solve for the future, my man, with our friends at ISF, trusted thought leader in strategic services for public sector agencies. They do it all over the country, from right here in little Tallahassee. Stable, consistent presence for employees, clients who love what they do. You want to thrive on making a difference? That's them. Their work matters. They know yours does too. They get together. We collaborate. Bam. Let's make it happen. So I think we just did a solving for the future, which is two of these major upgrades right off the bat in the last 2 weeks. We've talked about what's going on now with the officials, but then also in Major League Baseball with the
gateway measure, the half measure.
Mhm.
Yes.
The ball strike, advanced ball strike measuring system, the ABS. It's a good thing. And then there's, did you hear stupid ass Scherzer stutter effing his way through stupidity?
I mean, he'll do that from time to time.
Anyhow,
he got a challenge. What am I, Scott Hansen?
Challenge.
Coach's challenge. Yes, he got a call wrong and he was pissed off about it.
And then he complained about the system
And he
because it
thinks
wasn't
it's
him.
rigged or something.
No, humans should be human. And hey, buddy, the way in which human performance is measured, take a look around. Stop being a dumbass. He's not real bright, apparently.
He doesn't like direct deposit. We really should go back to the check writing.
That guy should have to stand there and count it to me.
Yeah, you should have to go and then walk into the bank and cash the check.
I mean, go down the road of any sort of medical advancements and anything else. Yeah, I mean, just that's yeah. But he's a baseball player. We'll let it go. Whatever. I rolled my eyes as soon as I saw it. He was just pissed off. He got it wrong.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Get it together. You sound like a little baby. You sound like a child.
When did it become acceptable that, well, this umpire routinely calls the high strike? Who cares? It's still wrong.
It's not a strike.
This umpire routinely allows the neighborhood play at second base. This one doesn't. But you know what? This umpire has a half-step rule at first base about safe out calls. Why is it acceptable on the ball strikes?
You just make it up. No, I'm with you. Yeah, let's make sure it is or it is not. That seems simple enough.
Yeah.
That was or was not a strike.
Then
he is safe or is he out? We can find that out.
We could use force plates on the mound to go get the balk next. We're going to get the balk at some point in my lifetime. If Andy Pettit makes it to the Hall of Fame, I'm going to show up.
It was a balk, Andy.
Fraud.
It was always a balk.
You are a fraud.
You know it and I know it. That's a balk.
Your whole career.
7 times a game, you were a balking Jesse.
What a great pickoff move. It's
not.
not.
It's not. It's a balk.
Really not, guys.
Well, our friends at ISF use evidence-based methodologies and technology to help those they partner with. So here you go, Tom. Let's talk about that. You got the refs in football, slowly being mitigated. Technology coming in to help out there, which is nice. Same with baseball. And then if we're going to solve for the future, we apply it to our football program. We solved a little bit for the future last night with our baseball program, finding a guy who I think has a chance to be the closer, even though he doesn't traditionally have a closer.
He'll be in the mix. Late inning leverage guy.
Yeah, he'll just be a late inning leverage guy, as he calls it, because he doesn't want to be beholden to a label of closer.
The LILG. He's a late inning leverage guy.
Which I like. But I wondered, is there a way to solve for the future for this team upcoming season against Alabama and the like? So I'm not ragingly mad all the time?
Oh, man. I don't know. That's a bridge too far because you understand hypotheticals versus reality. The problem is that's the past. We need to maybe ask Jonathan if maybe he can lead us in during a commercial, and instead of live read once, it could be just a leading of a meditation for 60 seconds on embracing the present and not worrying about the 2-10 past. That's the only thing that's going to help you. Not envisioning a scenario by which you can beat Alabama, but understanding and realizing that 2-10 can't hurt you anymore. It can't.
Can it? I mean, couldn't you be 9 years removed from it and still be hurt by it?
No, you could just appreciate it for what it was.
I'm really glad I got to experience that.
Well, look, sometimes you experience downs and you just got to look at it, acknowledge it, thank it for its wisdom, and then let it go. That's 2-10. Thank you for your wisdom. I realize that Mike Norvell is capable of miscalculations on a grand scale.
That won't help him much in the eyes of that fan base. I'll tell you that.
No, it's already started. There was an article on 3 put out about freshmen that are making waves, and it's intel from all different programs around the country. And for Florida State, several players have been in these workouts and the tour of duties and all these kind of things, making waves. Tylon Lee is one of them. Shamar Arnaud, the flip that we got from Auburn on signing day, is another one of them. Javon Boggs is a third one. And the things you see in the responses on the TC are, yeah, okay, that's great. Make me feel like I did last year at this time. And that's a totally fair response.
It is. It's funny because I realize every time I get excited about a player or the possibility of a player or coach doing something that is moving us forward and solving for the future, I do immediately fall back, as all of our listeners and subscribers do, which is yeah, he might be good, but that's the legacy of 2-10. You'll never, I wonder how many years from now you'll be allowed to be optimistic about Florida State football.
One good season and you'll be back on board. I'm talking to the greater audience.
Yes, I think that you won't sit around thinking about the need to fire Mike Norvell incessantly. If after they go, 9-3, you go, oh, okay, it was a blip on the radar.
That takes you into this time next year before spring camp, and you're excited, genuinely. You're not worrying about, if they're for real. Like, well, no, because I think many of these solutions, while we are transfer laden, many of the solutions for this season, if you're going to get to 9-3,
well, I just threw out a number.
If you did, that would have to mean that many high school recruits have helped get you to a place. So that means that kids we have developed, kids that we have brought in, youth would have to be a huge boon for us to get to 9-3 this season. It couldn't be all on the back of the transfers. It couldn't be.
Well, you said a lot.
Yeah. Skill position players.
They would be the secondary, right? That would be the secondary.
The secondary,
because your stars on offense are going to be transfers. It'll be a transfer quarterback throwing to a transfer receiver, throwing to another transfer receiver, throwing to a transfer tight end, and handing the ball. Well, okay, I'll grant you might have a true freshman running back carry the day.
Yeah, I think
Chroma, but everybody else.
If you're going to get to 9-3, to me, you're going to have Boggs be a piece in this rotation, or a young receiver, Hakeem, a program receiver, a non-transfer receiver. Hakeem, Boggs, maybe McCoy, and then at tight end, yes, Pittman's going to be a stud for us, but you're going to need Thomas or Lofton or maybe Amari Williams, I don't know, to be one of those guys for you. And then defensively, there's a lot of candidates, not just your secondary.
Yeah, defensively, you got a couple of linebackers.
Yep. And you've got potentially Lee or Kevin Wynn.
Yeah, and then obviously up front, you got big man Darrell Jackson.
Yes. Yeah. D-Jax, Lions would have to take another step, but Wynn might be in that. I think to get to 9-3, you have to have depth. You got to have depth. And the only place depth can come from is program guys.
Yeah. We did bring in an awful lot of players, and they are expected to, the vast majority of them are expected to get on the field now.
Sure.
And even I would, yeah.
But I'm saying those
far
transfers
fewer on offense.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Transfer offensive line. Probably one program guy on the offensive line, maybe.
No, I'll grant you that. But what I'm saying is those transfer guys can get you 7-5. Those transfer guys could get you 8-4. But if you're talking 9-3 or you're talking 10-2, one of those type seasons where fans walk away and say blip on the radar, if we're going to live in that optimistic
I was trying to be positive.
Then a lot of kids that we got on signing day are going to have to be a part of that process. A lot of them.
And listen, there are some guys in the system that we did recruit that I really, really like. A lot of them do reside in that secondary. But again, I think that offensively, I'm glad we're not having to rely on anything we saw last year. Whew.
Yeah.
That was a rough watch.
It's just even though Gus Malzahn and Mike Norvell are related in offensive philosophy, you really have to treat that almost on the level of Tony White. It's going to be totally different. Castellanos at quarterback and that system, that's not going to resemble anything like what Brock Glenn was running or Luke was running or DJ.
A different conversation for solving the future another time will be, what are you going to do? I want to know what Gus is going to do when somebody bottles up your quarterback from running the ball. There'll be a couple of defenses that have the speed, skill, size to set the edge and ensure that he has to sit there and make some throws.
You probably will lose those games.
Well, no, that's not going to be good enough. You can't just be resigned to losing games because somebody stops him from running.
It's going to be very difficult to do that because if you stop him, you're saying, though, what you're implying is the run is stopped, quarterback and traditional. Yeah,
well,
because if you stop Castellanos, then
Castellanos' biggest weapon is his legs. He's an average to below average passer, period.
But if you sell out to stop that, chances are that you're going to break off some runs between the tackles. Inside zone's going to be the basis of the offense, even before Castellanos.
Yeah, I sure hope. I feel like somebody's going to bottle up the run game at some point, and you're not going to have a guy that gets the ball where it needs to be accurately, consistently. But you're right. It's easier said than done, and there aren't that many teams that probably can do that.
Yes.
Clemson and Alabama might be.
If you're banking on, and I don't mean it in a good way, but if you're banking on 4 losses, 3 in a good scenario, 5 in a bad scenario, but in the ballpark of 4, that's how you lose, is they take away your best thing.
Well, you'll know it quick. It'll be akin to how quickly we all knew SMU was done against Penn State. My man looked absolutely gone. Just out here looking lost.
And then Franklin tried to get them back in the game by going for it on 4th down inside his own 30.
Yeah, it was dumb. But yeah, their offense was completely shut down. He was cold and didn't look like he wanted to be there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was the pick he threw to the defense, which was an incredible play by the edge rusher. But was that Abdul? Might have been.
Probably. He's a really good player. Probably. But yeah, that was, you could see it. You're like, oh, you don't have any other options here. You're done. You're not going to stand tall as a drop back passer and just start slinging it into small windows.
I really thought that Rhett was going to go back to Stone for the game. I
thought at some point he probably should have done it.
Yes, before halftime. And he never did. And Jennings kept on making these. I mean, even that first drive, you've got a wide open walk-in touchdown, and he decides to throw the ball instead of run it in.
Yeah, he had a tough day at the office.
I mean,
well, it was funny because you could have first guessed it when they were showing him in warm-ups, freezing his ass off and doing all. I'm like, whoa,
during game day.
Yeah, they were telling you.
Yeah,
my man here doesn't look like he wants to be here.
No. And it's so often quarterbacks get that level of blame, and it's not warranted whatsoever. It's the offensive line's failures. It's receivers, dropping passes. It's what a defensive. I mean, it's a sieve, and you're chasing the whole game.
Yeah, it was strange.
But for Jennings in this game, kind of the Joe Public reaction to the quarterback is kind of.
It was completely fair.
It's fair. Yeah. It's like Sam Darnold down the stretch this year for Minnesota.
What are we doing out here, Sam? This is why you've struggled.
22nd play, they've run inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
Yet to score a touchdown. Yeah, Sam.
Solving the future with our friends at ISF. Your future solved. Making technology work for you, whether you need enterprising-wide or application-specific changes. Our technology experts turn innovative ideas into scalable, feasible solutions for you and your organization. Working together, they can design tailored improvements to your IT infrastructure. That's a good thing. Applications, data, all that stuff. ISF.com to learn more. That's ISF.com. Tom, I do want to update real quick because we're going to talk about it next segment, and we're going to be wrong. They're saying some pills were found.
Oh, no.
Sounds like they called it a day.
Together? With the dog?
Yeah,
the
dog part of it pisses me off. You want to take each other out, whatever, but the dog? Come on. Final hour, bonus hour, coming up. For less, Tallahassee's largest